As part of this undercover operation, you had 85 drug cartel members who were arrested, and you also had a closing of the 7th largest bank in the world. I mean, the upside was very big. The downside was very, very scary for you, though, because your whole time you're undercover, you're at risk. I mean, that must have done something to you emotionally.
I think for me, the way that I was able to get a little bit comfortable was I basically had 2 brains operating at the same time. The Bob Mazur brain might have had his hair on fire and was worried about something that might have occurred, but I couldn't let that get into this conversation. And so it had to be put in a box and left on the side. You never forget why you're there and who you are, because you've got to be able to maneuver these conversations in the right direction. But when it comes to fear, if you demonstrate it, they get that uneasiness and it begins to snowball into more questions. So as a defense mechanism, you just can't let it out.
What is the secret to getting people to tell their deepest, darkest secrets?
One of the things that I did, I think I did, is I tried to just remain genuine. You know, so you've got to open yourself up to other people. When you open yourself up to other people and you do it in a genuine way, it's almost, I think they almost feel compelled to match that. Because I'm willing to lay that on the table for you. Just think about the people who you trust the most, who are not your family members, and why it is you trust them. That's what you got to look for.
Any regrets? Anything you'd go back and tell your undercover agent self from the 1980s?
There were times when I got information at 5 or 6 meetings and it led, in this very town, to the seizure of more than a ton of cocaine in downtown Manhattan in a warehouse. That's what grabbed me. My heroin, my addiction became my ability to get information that I thought nobody else could get. And just like any addiction, when you are too addicted, you begin to do things, you make mistakes, you take risks maybe that you shouldn't take. And looking back on it in hindsight, probably in the last 2-3 months of the operation, I was so desirous of getting that information that I probably took a little bit more risk than maybe I should have.
What did you learn from all of this?
There's $400 billion a year generated from the sale of illegal drugs, and our government finds about $1 billion. That's 1/4 of 1%. So their coffers grow every day. Their corruption spreads everywhere. It's a big, huge storm that's brewing. These people control international businesses, legitimate-looking ones around the world. They move tons of cocaine at a time, tons of money, and now they're working with terrorists. There needs to be a lot of other people who follow behind me and behind Amir and Kathy Ertz and other people to try to help to wrap our arms around this problem.